Hi, this is Dan. Today I'm going to be showing you how to design this simple twisted bracket in Autodesk Inventor. So we'll be using these units and everything specified in this drawing here. We'll go ahead and open up Inventor. Alright, as soon as Inventor opens, go ahead and make a new part. And we're going to need to create some reference planes. In the drawing you'll notice there's a blue line here in the center of the part and then two red lines here. So this twisting shape is in between the two red lines, and after those there is a flat rectangular knob sticking out. So what we'll need are two planes offset 1 inch from the midplane on either side. So we can draw the cross section, which is this rectangle. So for that we're going to go ahead and go under 3D model, plane, and we're going to say offset from plane. And the plane that it's offset from is going to be the XY plane. So go ahead and click on this, and it's going to bring up this menu here. You're going to input 1 inch, done, and then you'll go back to this XY plane and create another offset from plane. This will be 1 inch as well, but it'll be facing the opposite direction. So you can go ahead and, I believe you can just make that negative. There we go. Negative 1 inch. So now we have two work planes, one here and one here, and the mid plane is in the center, which is the regular XY plane. Alright, for our first half, we'll go ahead and make this rectangle with these dimensions facing a landscape kind of view. So we'll start a 2D sketch, click on our first work plane, and it will bring us to the sketch tab where we'll be able to go to rectangle. Under the drop down menu, select 2-point center so we can make sure that this rectangle is centered. Click the middle point here and then drag it out. Alright, now dimension. We'll change these dimensions to what we need, which is 0.5, and for the length 1.25. So that looks about like this. We have our first rectangle done. Now we'll hit this green check mark to finish the sketch. Alright, for the second rectangle we'll start a 2D sketch again, click on the other work plane. Alright, and we'll rotate the view around here. And we'll go ahead and create another rectangle, this time facing vertical. And this side here is 1.25, and this face is 0.5. Alright, go ahead and click the green check mark to finish this sketch, and now we have two sketches perpendicular to each other with the dimensions that we need. Alright, to make these 3D, we're going to go ahead and go to extrude, this tool here, and you'll click on the first sketch, and this needs to go 1.25 inches out. And that's because in this drawing here the total length is 4.5 inches, and there's 2 inches of essentially the twist. So each half would have to extend 1.25 inches to make those units work out. Alright, so we've got our first half, and then we will go ahead and go back to extrude. We'll extrude the other sketch, which it's automatically grabbed for us, and you need to make sure you move it in the other direction. We want these both facing outwards. So you change that simply by clicking this direction 2 button. 1.25 is the correct distance, so we'll hit OK. Now we have these two perpendicular shapes here. I'm moving the view so we can get a better look at them. And we'll need to make them look a little bit closer to our drawing. So that includes putting a hole in the center and adding fillets to the edges. So for starters, we'll add that hole. To do that, we're going to create a 2D sketch. Click on this face here, and then we'll add a circle. The circle needs to be, let's check our units. Circle needs to be 1/2 inch from the top. So after we draw our circle here, we'll go ahead and go to dimension, click the center point of the circle, the edge here, and type in 0.5. Alright, and the diameter of that circle is going to be 1/2 inch as well. So we'll go ahead and click on the edge of that circle, and write 0.5. Alright, that is the correct size and position for a hole. We'll go ahead and hit the green check mark, and then go over extrude, and you'll notice it's bringing it up with green. What we want is the opposite of that, so we'll change it from join to cut, which is the second option here, and you can go ahead and change distance to 2 next. 2 next basically brings the cut all the way to the next face. So once you get that, you can go ahead and hit OK, and we'll have a hole in that side. We're going to do the same thing for the other half. And you'll notice what I'm doing to get the hole directly in the center is finding that green center point on this line here and moving it out so that this dotted line remains. That allows us to avoid having to put multiple dimensions on here. So this is centered vertically, and then we just have to make sure that it's 1/2 inch horizontally, and then change the diameter. Alright, and next we will do the same thing. Make sure it's a cut, 2 next, hit OK. Alright, next up we're going to add these fillets. So click the fillet button right here under 3D model and tap on all of these corners. Alright, and this fillet radius is supposed to be 1/2 inch. So we'll go ahead and change this value, 0.5. You'll notice it changed in the preview as well, and we can hit OK. So that looks pretty close to our sketch. We've got the curved corners and this circle drilled in all of them. Next up we have to do that twisting motion. So to do that we're going to use the loft tool. So first click on the loft tool. It's going to ask for some sections. The sections you'll add are this face here and the opposite face right here. Alright, so this isn't quite what we wanted. You'll notice that it's trying to shrink this face here and shrink it here, but there's no twist in the middle. And we wanted that twisting shape as shown in the sketch. So what we'll have to do is go under Transition, uncheck Automatic Mapping, and we'll have to adjust where these points are set. So for starters, this edge here is from this corner. This corner should be mapped to this corner if it's rotating correctly. So we'll click on that, and then we'll go to the next edge and make sure these are both on each other. Okay. And then we'll go to set 2, and this should be mapped to this corner if it's twisting in a counterclockwise direction. So let's go ahead and make sure that's correct. I'm going to redo that real quick. Loft section, click here, click here. Alright, and then we'll go to Transition, uncheck Automatic Mapping. Alright. It can get confusing, so just keep in mind that it's rotating in one direction, otherwise you'll map these corners to the wrong places. Alright, so this point here, if we untwisted this clockwise, we'll go to this point. So we'll click on that, we'll go to edge 3 and click on that. Alright, set 2 should be mapped to this side here, so we'll click on that, go to edges 3, click on that. Alright, set 3 should be mapped to this face over here, so we'll click on that, go to the next one, click on that, and then the final one, edge 4, should be mapped to this point here, so we'll click on that, change this to edge 3, and click on that. Alright, that should all be correct. The last thing I'll change is in conditions. We want this to come out tangent to the surface. So if it isn't tangent, the curve will make a sharp turn before twisting. What we'd like is for it to have a smooth change, so we're going to change this to tangent condition, and then we'll go ahead and hit OK. And there we go. That looks correct. We've got this corner mapping to this corner. It's all twisted up instead of shrinking the sides, and it is tangent. You'll notice it's tangent because as it exits this edge, it continues in the same direction and then gradually sweeps down. Alright, so that's it. We've got our shape done here. This is our curved bracket, and it matches up with our drawing, so we are done.